Ivan Katz here at McLean Central Park, and it's a very tight course. It's a wooded course with really tight fairways, so it's actually quite interesting. There's an occasional wind today, and the course is kind of a mess because of some recent weather, and that makes it extremely interesting. So I'm going to talk about which discs I throw and why I throw them, and I basically throw all of my drives with the forehand flick, so I'll talk about the flick a lot. But let's get started. And getting started means you should practice your putting. Behind me is the putting practice basket. And usually every disc golf course has one by hole number 1. So practice your putting. I've added an AVR for today. And my old favorites, the Vibram. That's right, it's pronounced Vibram, not Vibram Summit. And of course, my 86. Okay, you've practiced your putting, and it's time to get started. Number 1, it has some obstacles. It's just 206 feet, but there's a water feature, and there's also the jogging path, and that's out of bounds. So you have to make sure that no one's jogging, of course, and you also have to make sure that you don't land on that path. Well, I wasn't kidding when I was talking about the weather. You see this tree's fallen. They say it's going to be gone by tomorrow, so it'll be cleared up soon, but you're going over this way, and you've got to dogleg right a little bit around all this stuff. And there's a fence there too, and that is where the basket is, 206 feet away. Great drive with the Viking, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in with the 86. Nice drive down here with the Nuke SS. I'm going to go ahead and use the Viking and put it in. Nice drive here with the Star Vulcan, but I've got a difficult putt. It's uphill and there's a twig in my way. So I've got to concentrate. I've got to make sure I give it enough flick and give it enough distance because I got to go higher. And that's always tough. This was my best drive here with the classic Inferno, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in with the AVR. Okay, number 1, McLean Central Park, wrapping it up. I had some nice drives with the Nuke SS and also the Star Vulcan, but my better drives were with the Viking and the classic Inferno Quest. Great disc. And the best drive on this one by far. Now for the putters I use, the 86, also called the 80 sink because it's sinking characteristics. You can throw it high and let it kind of curve down, and it's a great putter for that. The Vibram, most people say Vibram, I used to too, but it's Vibram Summit, great putt approach. And then finally, the AVR. Now people that play in this area, this is McLean, kind of Tyson's Corner near DC. There's one player in particular that throws any course using all AVRs, Mark Jackson, number 3411 PDGA. He's a great player. He does all sorts of amazing things with the AVRs. And players often have their own personal preferences for discs. And most players would say, oh, why aren't you throwing a putter on this one? It's 206 feet. Well, everybody plays their own way. An excellent player like Mark Jackson, he could throw this hole perfectly with an AVR. And I've seen players similarly throw the whole course with a spider. And these are speed 5 discs basically. So they're putters, maybe approaches for most people. But again, you have to cater the discs to your own way of throwing. And that's really what I'm trying to teach here. I'm not a pro. I don't have a PDGA number at all. So I play for my own enjoyment. I love making videos, and I really know how these discs throw, and I can look at somebody throwing and say, oh, you should throw this disc or you should throw that disc. And that's really what my videos are all about, to show you what these discs do, what their characteristics are, and how you throw them. This one went a long way before curving right, and that's a good thing, the classic Inferno. The Viking, you can get it to throw very straight. I threw it with a little curve on the end, and it worked out very well today. The second best throw of the day. Similarly, the Nuke SS and the Vulcan, the Star Vulcan. You can get some really great throws with these as well. You just have to learn them and practice them. Go out into a field. I have some other videos on throwing in a field. Check those out, and check out all my other disc golf videos. But let's get on to number 2. Number 2 is also just over 200 feet, 205 feet, and it's a dog leg left. You've got all these trees here in the way, and kind of gotta get over to the left here to get to the basket right here. Now you can just see the basket peeking through right here, and I'm starting from here. Rakatan. Viking. Classic Inferno. Okay, great result here with the Viking, and also the Rakatan, which is right over here, close to the basket as well, and then the Destroyer. Excellent. And again, the Classic Inferno. Very nice job. Okay, so let me put them on in now. Okay, wrapping up number 2 here. You'll notice I threw a lot of discs as drivers. Why not? I'm out here. I have some new discs with me. It's the best way to learn them. Go play by yourself and just learn your discs. So I wanted to highlight a bunch of different throws, and that's what I'm doing. So my drivers, very nice drive with the Viking and the Destroyer, and also the Rakatan, which actually went past my target. That's a good thing. And again, the Classic Inferno. This is a new disc. This is relatively new in my bag, the Rakatan, and they're really becoming staples of my game. Try out new discs and see what they can do for you. Putters. I started out with actually the mid-range Rock 3. I like to use it as a putter inside or just outside the circle, depending. The circle is 10 meters, 33 feet, and I think it makes a great putter and of course a great approach too. Of course, my always dependable 86 and the AVR and the Vibram Summit. There you go. On to number 3. Number 3, 174. Looks easy, but it's actually pretty challenging because you start here and notice it's heading off this way. You're supposed to go ahead and dog leg it right all the way back and around to the basket here. Now, I don't see any Mando listed today, which is mandatory. Usually you'll have a sign going this way or the other way, but nothing today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it both ways. Why not? Can you see the basket right there? Well, that's where I'm going. And again, I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to throw it through here, and I'm also going to throw it around there, which I believe is the way you're supposed to throw it. Classic Inferno. Crank SS. Viking. Nuke SS. Destroyer. Leopard. Rakatan. The King. The Viking, Crank SS, and the Classic Inferno here. Still got some trouble on the way there though. Should be able to get over it with the 86. And going with the dog leg left. Had some really nice results here with the King. the Nuke SS and the Destroyer. And over here, nice shot with the Leopard, which is great for getting a flick shot sidearm to curve left. And then also the Rakuten, which is just about a drop in. Nice. Now let me put these on in. Now wrapping up number 3 here, you see when I went for the dog leg left, I had a good result with the Destroyer, the Nuke SS, the Leopard, which is really my pick when I need to curve left with a flick, and also the Rakuten can be very good when you need a little more distance. And the King really, not really for this one, it's actually good for a hyzer and then a kind of hyzer flip to an S pattern for distance, but here I knew it would work just because of the characteristics of the disc. And again, I throw these a lot, and even though some throwers would never throw the King here, again, I can make it work. And that's what this video is all about, showing you what I can make work and what I can't. Now, on the other side for the dog leg right, the Classic Inferno, the Crank SS, and the Viking did a very good job. And for my putters, like I said, that tough putt over the brush, tough because it was a little further, the 86 or 80 Sync, and then this is actually a Champion Rock 3 from Innova. Excellent disc for putting and approaching too, and a lot of people can play the whole course with something like this as well, just like the AVR. And then finally, the Vibram Summit. On to number 4. Now number 4 here is tough, 335 feet, and lots of trees in the way, and kind of a dog leg right as well. So tough shot, but we can get there. Destroyer. Rakuten. Viking. Okay, nice results here with the Viking and the Hex Rakuten and the Destroyer, all within like 2 feet of each other basically, and a ways to go, but nothing in the way, so should be easy to get there. Okay, I'm going to try to get there. Okay, so my best approaches were with the King, surprisingly, and the Nuke SS, and also the Classic Inferno here, and finally my Vibram Summit, which is my go-to approach disc. No surprise there. Okay, let me put these on in. Okay, nice drives with my Viking, X Rakuten, and Destroyer, all within like 2 feet of each other. The same distance, nice distance for these discs. Okay, so then I went ahead and threw my approach shots with the Nuke SS, the King, Classic Inferno, and my go-to approach, the Vibram Summit. And as I said before, the King and the Nuke SS, now these are more fairway long distance drivers, but again, it's personal preference, and again, I like to know what my discs are going to do, and I feel I have good control with these. This Nuke SS especially fades off to the right very predictably, and it's a good disc for me to run those distances at. It was close, but still a nice approach, and the King as well. On to the next one. Okay, number 5 here, and seems quite easy, which it is, but there is a hazard behind you, water. And if you go too far, much past the 160, say 170, then you're wet. So that's what makes it tough. Nuke SS. Rock 3. Viking. Destroyer. King. Okay, good results here with the Destroyer and the Rock 3 right there, as well as the Viking and the Nuke SS, and like I said, the King, just because I know when it's going to turn over and I can sort of plan it into my throws. That's why it makes a good approach for me. Okay, let me put them on in. Okay, good results with the Destroyer, the Nuke SS, the Viking, the Rock 3, and even the King, which just goes to show you, even though those discs have very different characteristics, you can still get them to do whatever you want by incorporating the right amounts of hyzer and also flick and follow through. Sometimes if you want to get them to curve off to the left, then you've got to use some anhyzer. You can get them to do really whatever you like. With the flick, you put on hyzer, and as I've said before, if you see me throwing a flick like this at this angle, then you want to throw, if you throw backhand, the same angle this way, just like that. So that's how it works. It's hyzer for the flick and anhyzer for the backhand. There you go. Okay, number 6 here, 172 feet and a lot of trees. So it's tough. Plus it's a dog leg left. Let's do it. Destroyer. Crank SS. Great result with the Destroyer here. Over here, the Crank SS. So there you go, Destroyer and Crank SS. Nice result with those. Now number 7 here is 229 feet and is hard, especially for backhand throwers, because it's hard to get around this stuff right over here. But I'm going to go ahead and flick it through here, and then it's hard because of that kind of tree in the distance there. But we'll see what we can do here to get around it and get close to the basket. Rakuten. Nuke SS. Classic Inferno. Star Vulcan. Destroyer. Okay, nice job with the Star Vulcan and the Classic Inferno here. Just outside the circle, I'd say 33 feet, probably about 40 feet. The Destroyer here, and the Nuke SS right here. And the Hex Rakuten, which like I said is becoming a staple of my bag. Okay, let me put those on in. Okay, so the Rakuten Hex ended up right over there, nice shot. And then these were all closer together. The Inferno and the Vulcan and the Destroyer and the Nuke SS. And then of course, same 4 putters I've been using, the Rock, 86, AVR, and Vibram Summit. On to the next one. Now 8 is really tough because there's a lot of trees there and it's a dog leg left, but it's straight back this way. Not a bad drive here with the Destroyer. Should be a pretty easy putt in. Not pretty, but in. Not too shabby with the Rock 3. Tough putt, but should be able to make it. Okay, so that one tough because of all the trees, but we got through with the Destroyer and the Rock. Now, on to the last one, number 9. That one's fun. Okay, so the last one, number 9, really cool because it's over the creek, 146 feet. Okay, so good result with actually 5 discs. The Leopard, Starlight Boss, Hex Rakuten King, which I got to flip and turn over, and this one, of course, the classic Inferno, a drop-in. They're pretty much all drop-ins. Okay, so there you go. That's a round at McLean Central Park. Final score, 19. All birdies except for 1 par. Now, a word about that. Of course, I'm making a video here, and I take several shots because I want to highlight the right disc for the right shot and also the different things that these discs can do. Now, no one's going to come out here and birdie every single one of these, or probably even half of them, even the best players. This is a tough, very tight course. Again, I'm giving a tutorial, a lesson here, but I hope you can see that you really can do everything you want with these discs. And some of the discs I use to make it happen, new to my bag, this classic Inferno, very nice. The Nuke SS, like that one a lot. And also this Rakuten here, very good. And this Rock 3, which makes a great approach and also a putter for me sometimes too. I like it as a putter. Continuing on, this AVR, which I've added to my bag, very nice. It's a good all-around putter, and like I said, some people like Mark Jackson can even play a whole course with them and do quite well. So that really goes to show you that you have to cater these discs to yourself. Just because your friend throws this one and they get it to do what they want it to do, doesn't matter. You have to make them work for you. And that's what my videos are all about. The rest of the discs I use, Starlight Boss, Crank SS, the King, again, which is really a long distance driver, but I sometimes can use as an approach disc as well. The Banshee, Destroyer, which is great to get a flick shot to turn left, and also the Viking, great disc. If you don't have one, you should. They're very nice. The Destroyer, like I said earlier, I have a whole video on this disc. Everybody should have one in their bag. Check that one out. The Vibram Summit, Vibram most people say, great disc, and I use it as a approach and also a putter too. Love it. And finally, my 86 or 80 sink. And there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this round today at McLean Central Park. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me on Twitter and Instagram. Check out all my other videos here on YouTube. And thanks for watching. I'm Ivan Katz.